Good afternoon, Mr. Bennett.
Wow, you're in a really nice place.
Yeah, I wish I were there. Thank goodness for virtual backgrounds.
That's great.
Harbor.
Well, it's going to be you and I.
Yes, I heard.
Okay. Are we there? We've got a minute.
We got a couple minutes, yeah. Let's see. So Julie Atwell is on the phone. And
Hello.
hi. And then Will Reisig is on the phone. And Hank is on the phone.
Hi,
And
Hank.
then Rick Murnick is on. And Mr. McCarron. It says Patty, but I think you're probably not Patty, so.
And Sue Goddard is with me also.
Okay, hi, Sue. And then Ed Harvey and Victor Allen have just joined as well.
Okay.
And Diane Pratt is on also.
All right. So they'll be at the short-term rental discussion.
Correct. And Karen Burton is also on the line now.
And that will be later in our agenda.
Correct.
Well then, seems like everybody's wants to be here is here. Is it here or there?
Everywhere. And Julie Hoyt is on as well. So yeah, Dick, I think we are ready to go.
The order. The first item is to approve the minutes of the last meeting.
And I will make a motion to approve the Selectmen's meeting minutes from December 8th.
I will second that. How do you vote, Barbara?
I vote yes.
Bennett, yes. And then we have the minutes from the public hearing for the water precinct boundary change.
And I will make a motion to approve those minutes for the public hearing for the water precinct boundary change as amended from Julie Hoyt's communication.
Okay. I will second that motion and recognize Julie to, Julie, if you want me to read into the minutes, the items you want. Okay, the board, is Julie there?
Are you talking
Julie Hoyt.
did the changes?
Julie Hoyt,
Yes, I'm here.
do you want me to
Are you-
read in the items you outlined for
I
me?
think yeah, I think it should be read in, and or we just go with
Should we-
those minutes. I'm not really
Or
sure.
can we just repost them after the meeting?
Yes, I think so. I don't know, Julie Atwell.
As long as that was what was said in the meeting versus making a correction to what was said, you can repost them.
Yeah, what
Okay.
I added to this is what was said. It just wasn't included in the first draft of the minutes.
Okay, well, I'm going to read in these items the board considered a petition to adjust the boundary for the Jackson Water Precinct. Kevin Pratt, Commissioner for the Water Precinct, Andy Dean, attorney from Cooper, Cargill, and Chant, and Scott Hayes, Superintendent of the Water Precinct, were all recognized to provide comments on the petition. According to Town Administrative Assistant Julie Hoyt, the petition was
Dick, I think we just lost you.
April 6, 2020, but was canceled due to complications related to COVID-19. Okay, the other item to restate is that Andy Dean noted that the last step in the process is the ratification vote, and the statute states the selectmen shall call for ratification of the voters by noticing residents. Julie Atwell stated that Stephen Buckley of New Hampshire Municipal told her once the town hearing is complete, the selectmen are done with their role in this process. The town has already sent out notices and asked why we would need to send out a second round of notices. Julie Hoyt mentioned the notice sent out to all precinct residents included the wording, upon approval of said boundary changes, a ratification vote will take place at the Water Precinct annual meeting on Wednesday, March 3rd, 2021 at 6 p.m. at the Whitney Center, 16 Black Mountain Road, Jackson, New Hampshire. And he stated that should be sufficient. Selectman Campbell made a motion to approve the boundary line adjustment for the Water Precinct, seconded by Allen. Motion was approved unanimously. So I think that covers any items that may have been overlooked or weren't clear, and I hope that takes care of it. So now I'll take a vote on the minutes. Barbara, how do you vote? You made the motion.
Yes, I vote yes.
Bennett, yes. Okay, so now we have the items for discussion. The Bartlett Jackson Ambulance Service update.
So I had a meeting with the selectmen of Bartlett and also Rick Murnick and Sue Gaudette with the ambulance, Bartlett Jackson ambulance, and a few other folks were in there as Jeff Courier, Joe Ruman, and Caitlin Daly. So the gist of the meeting was to discuss having future meetings on a regular basis, number one. So we're going to be scheduling quarterly meetings with the two select boards and the Bartlett Jackson ambulance staff and management, as well as any other interested parties, and they will be public meetings. Those will be posted probably as soon as we make sure we have the dates correct, but it'll most likely be on the third Wednesday of the first month of the quarter. So we'll post those, like I said, as public meetings, but we want to get back to a regular schedule to have communication with the Bartlett Jackson Ambulance Service. The second thing that we discussed was the purchase of a new cot and power mode rail system for the second ambulance. Rick and Sue had sent a request for funds that were part of the original budgeted amount for the Bartlett Jackson ambulance this year. So it wasn't an additional request. It was part in the budget. So we had a discussion about the improvements that would create for the cot, to have this new cot and rail system in the other ambulance, the second ambulance, and also the reduction of risk for patients being injured, staff being injured. close contact with COVID, and the fact that the old cot, the manual cot, is at end of life and not being serviced anymore. It's at over 12 years old. And then if the decision is made to purchase the cot and rail system, the insurance premiums would likely decrease by about 10%. Rick, was that? Or I'm sorry, 1%, not 10%. That was in my dream. So, Dick, I know I thought you may have had some questions. Did you want to ask Rick and Sue anything more about that?
Well, I was wondering why it wasn't included with the original build out of the new ambulance.
Because we split the difference. I put the new cot in the new ambulance, which is compatible to the rail systems, and the older cot was not compatible. You could make it compatible for a $5,000 upgrade, but it would only last a couple more months until May because that cot's at the end of its life. So rather than spend a whole bunch of money a couple of years ago, we split it out. We got a rail system last year, and I'd like to build it out and get the rest of it this year to complete that complement.
Okay, for funding of the ambulance service, the funding that comes from Jackson, I see it as an operating expense. And when we get into capital expenses, I think we should have some heads up on that so we can go to the town and raise the money. Now, you were going to take our part of the operating expenses and put it towards this purchase, which I guess, you know, it balances out and that's fine. And but do you know what I'm talking about? That we should have a little heads up on that so that we can.
I do, and if we were allowed to do.
Plan for this sort of expenditure ahead of time rather than having it come at us the way it has.
Okay, I'd like to say that we did plan for this ahead of time. And because we can't do a line item budget, we can't necessarily say exactly we want to buy it. This is part of the plan all along. And we're still on the budget. We were less budgeted this year than we had been for the last 2 years, which we level funded. So we're still under what we were by quite a bit. And we did build it into what our plan was.
Okay.
The other reason, obviously, is that we never had a meeting. We never had a budget meeting last year. We have not had a meeting since the budget year prior to that.
And I think this,
agree.
yeah. And this is what sort of stemmed from having quarterly meetings moving forward. Nobody likes surprises, so we need more communication, whether it be in a scheduled meeting or whether it be through a need of a special meeting or whatever. But we need more communication. We're also, Rick and Sue have already worked on their budget for next year, and we're going to review it in the next meeting in January, but, or I'm sorry, probably before year end. But the big thing really was communication, no surprises. What are you planning for capital expenditures moving forward?
Thank you. That's good. And as far as the value of the lift, I think it is of value.
Mm-hmm.
And then we won't be voting on this because it needs to be voted on in the Bartlett-Jackson ambulance meeting. So I just put it on here as an update. And then to make sure, Dick, that you had any questions, you could answer those. And if we decide to move forward with it, we can either do a special meeting or something communicated to the effect that the funds will be spent.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rick and Sue. Appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.
Are you all set with us, Barb?
Yes,
Okay.
I am. Thank you.
Merry
Bye-bye.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you both and stay safe. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Dick, are you still there? There you are.
Okay, okay, our current personnel policy allows employees to roll over 40 hours of PTO every year, and anything else that is unused is lost. Since most employees were unable to use their PTO time like they normally would due to the COVID-19 virus, I would like to make a motion to allow employees to take the remaining amount of unused PTO and split that so half or more, if they so choose, will go into their sick bank, which does not get paid out, and the remaining half be paid out. And this would only apply to 2020. And this also does not apply to the police department because they are on a different carryover policy.
I'll make a motion to accept that policy adjustment for 2020.
I second that motion. Barbara, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Bennett, yes. Okay, and I'll have that, the desk to be signed. Oh, and then we have a report of cut. This was from this tax year operation. Anyway, it's been vetted by the town forester, who helps us out with that when we don't really know what to look for. And let's see. Well, the total tax due will be $6,059.55. So anyway, that will go into the general fund. And I think that is just a heads up. I'm not sure if we have to approve that. I think we just have the opportunity to discuss it and then sign it. Does that sound right?
Julie, any comments or are we good there?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
All righty. And then the next item is, the filming budget expenses.
Hi.
Hi, Hank.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Yeah, so what happened was JacksonFlex.com was kicked offline about a week ago because we met our hosting limit with GoDaddy, which I was paying $7 a month for. So we migrated to business class hosting, and we were offline for about 5 hours Saturday. But we upgraded to business class hosting, and that's now I'm paying $30 a month. So I was wondering if for the budget for next year is if we can have the town pay for that within the budget for next year. Is that all right?
I just real quickly, who else uses it's jacksonflix.com, you said?
Yeah. Basically, it's just the we use it for the town's video.
Okay. So I think anything that's, oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. So the total cost for the budget for next year would be about for the hosting would be about $360 because it's $30 a month for 12 months. So.
Okay. So anything budget related will definitely go in as a recommendation, and then when we have the budget hearings in January, we'll include that in our discussions.
Okay.
All right. Dick, does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Thank you, Hank. We appreciate your service and getting these meetings posted promptly and everything.
Yeah, no
And I
problem.
think it seems like an expense that we should go ahead with, because we don't want to lose our ability to have film for our meetings. Thank you. Okay, now we will go into the next item, short-term rentals applications for approval. I have to find them. Were there any issues with this application?
For Garcia, there are no issues. So I will make a motion to approve the Garcia conditional use permit at 34 Whitney Hill Loop.
I will second that motion. Barbara, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Bennett, yes. Okay, 801. So Doc votes yes also. 801 Carter Notch Road. Are
And
there any issues, known issues with that application?
no, I will make a motion to approve the 801 Carter Notch Road.
I will second that.
Well,
Barb,
go ahead.
it's Julie Hoyt.
Hi.
That application, we're still waiting for, they're gonna be sending the meals and rooms.
Oh, okay.
We're still waiting for that, so I don't know if we can put that on for the next meeting.
Yep. So we will not approve that.
Okay,
I retract my motion. We're waiting on meals and tax.
we will backtrack from that
All right,
and table it till next meeting.
correct.
Okay, 56 Dundee Road. I don't know what his advertising is. I have spoken with him and said that he had to stay within his septic parameters. I'm not sure if it's a 3-bedroom or a 4-bedroom septic approval. I think it was just redone. Julie Hoyt, do you have any information on that?
I do. Can you hear me? Sorry about
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
Yeah, so he was just approved for a 3-bedroom septic, and on the septic plan, it also includes a studio. He currently has a building permit out to create a little studio in another outbuilding. So the house that he rents as a short-term rental, that's a 3-bedroom, but he's listing it for 5 bedrooms, sleeping 10 people.
Okay, and I explained to him, so I think we're going to deny the application at this time. I did explain to him that we go on the septic parameters, which he understood and accepts that idea. So we'll see what his ad becomes for the future. I don't know about I know the building that would be the little studio and how that fits in, whether it has bathroom facilities in it or will have, and if that is going into the same septic system, it would have to count as one of the bedrooms. So anyway, we'll see how it shakes out, but at this time I would say we'll table that one.
Agreed.
All righty. Well, now we go to the second part, pending. Kudrick is with the town council. DeFusco was denied.
Just a note, Dick, we did hear from Mr. Kudrick and he is in the process of filing his conditional use permits. It's still with legal, but we have made progress on it, so.
Right, I mean, he still has issues with us about it, but I
Mhm.
guess he is going to or is applying for his permit.
Right.
Which is good. I appreciate all efforts.
Right.
Jonathan needs to follow up with Kevin. We'll see how that is. I apologize for calling Heather Judy, and I know she is not. So Heather, I apologize. At our
Hello.
last meeting.
Hey, Dick, can I speak for a minute?
Who are you?
I'm Kevin, building inspector. How you
Oh,
doing?
thank you. I don't have your pictures.
Okay.
All right, now
Um,
I hear you. Yes, I've got that voice down. Kevin Bennett.
on Johnson, on Heather Johnson. Yeah, she left me a message, and that message wound up in my spam folder. So I kind of got back to her. I left her a message, and she told me she took the doors off and she bought smoke detectors. And we were trying to get a schedule to go up there to check on things. But I told her over the phone, I said, I believe you got that stuff. I said, at this time, I don't have the time for number one. And just to make a run up there to go look at a couple smoke detectors and 2 doors that were taken off. I mean, I'm taking her word for it, which I believe she did that. Just with this whole COVID thing, just one less reason for me to have to go into another building. So I would approve her place.
I accept that, Kevin. Thank you.
Thank you.
Barbara, do you want to make a motion on that?
Yeah, I will make a motion to approve Heather Johnson's conditional use permit, which I believe is at 310 Moody Farm Road. Kevin, is that correct?
I don't have the address here, but that probably sounds right.
Yeah. And based on the fact that she did agree to make the changes and that she signed the affidavit stating so.
I will second
Beautiful.
that. Barbara, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Bennett, yes. Okay, the next one is Longley. Permit was denied, updated advertising, correct bedrooms, 3-bedroom house, 8 guests. Do we have any information on whether that advertising has been corrected?
Yes, it has. I think Julie has a note there that it was corrected.
Okay. I may be missing a page that I should be looking at for this.
I think it's actually on the spreadsheet that Julie normally sends, but Julie, is that correct that they did make the changes on that advertising for Longley?
Yes, they did make the changes, but he was questioning, he had an inspection done, and I had sent that to Burr Phillips to look at it, and Burr said that whereas the approval was for 3 bedrooms, that is what they're permitted for. They wouldn't be grandfathered for any additional bedrooms because the inspector found the leach bed in good condition. So we just have to let Mr. Longley know that we have to go by the septic plan, not by what the inspector did.
Okay, so
And it
he
was-
is approved for 3 bedrooms or up to 8 guests, and that's what his
Yeah.
advertising shows.
Yes, he did change the advertising to that.
Then I will make a motion to approve the Longley conditional use permit based on the new information.
I will second that motion. Barbara, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Bennett, yes. Okay, Berman. First violation, no permit.
Right.
Make a motion on that.
I will make a motion to send a first violation to the Berman property since they have not filed a conditional use permit yet.
I will second that. Barbara, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Bennett, yes. McInnes, same, first violation, no permit.
Right. I will make a motion to file the first violation against McInnes for no permit filed.
I will second that motion. Barbara, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Bennett, yes. Nelson, first violation, no permit.
Again, I will make a motion to file a first violation against the Nelson property for no permit filed.
I will second that. Barbara, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Bennett, yes. Saletta. First violation, no permit.
I will make a motion to file the first violation to Soletta for no permit filed.
I will second that motion. Barbara, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Bennett, yes. Okay, well,
And as these properties are made, we're made aware of these properties where there is no conditional use permit filed, we are going to be filing additional first violations and contacting people, so trying to keep up and build our inventory.
Yep. Okay, then we have short-term rental complaints.
Dick, there's just one more add-on here for, there was a first violation filed against Victor Nunez, which he has responded to, and he is filing a new conditional use permit. So his application was incomplete in September, but he has responded to us, so we are making progress on that one. So that was more of an FYI than any motion. I just wanted to keep that one on as pending.
I'm sorry I don't have that sheet in front of me. I bet it's here, but I don't have it. So.
No worries. I think it's also just nice to note that we're starting to get some response back from some of the owners and kind of getting our ducks in a row as far as what the process is, going over these, and then with Julie Hoyt involved in the process with the owners as well, we're starting to really make an impact on this. And we're hearing back from the owners and appreciate the communication and resolving some of these, so.
Feels they're being picked on, or we're trying to keep this the same for everyone.
Right.
Okay, we have STR complaints, short-term rental complaints. Okay, 62 Thornhill Road, complaint number 4, received 12/7/2020. I don't have that complaint in front of me.
Julie, do you have the information on that one?
I do. Let's see. Let me make sure I have the right one.
Okay.
Received December 7th. It's regarding 62 Thornhill Road. I was walking past the short-term rental on Saturday, November 28th at 6:30 p.m. Noticed a male and female in the driveway and had a conversation with them. They told me 17 people were staying there and there were 6 bedrooms. This is a violation of the short-term ordinance 4.4.3.6V. This continued use by large groups is also a violation of town ordinances and state rules for septic systems. This is my 4th complaint, and to confirm that the short-term rental is in violation, I made a reservation for 2 nights, December 14th through the 16th for 21 guests. This reservation was approved. Also, the town has had many septic issues in the past. You must be aware of the health and environmental issues caused for overloading septic systems. I'm worried about the wells in the area.
So this is the fourth complaint, but we are still waiting to hear back, I believe. There are sort of two issues here. One is certainly a ground issue, and the fact that the septic is possibly and probably being overloaded. But the other thing is just certainly the advertisement and the over advertisement of number of guests allowed there. So this has been brought to the owner's attention in several complaints already, and I think it is with legal right. It is with legal right now.
Okay, that's good. So we will not take any vote on that at this time because that's in the hands of town council, and we'll hear back from him.
Right. And I believe Kevin Bennett, were you going to be involved in this one as well, I think? He might have hopped off.
I can, yes,
Without the building
I
permit.
can be.
Okay. We can chat next week about that one, just to make sure you're up on everything and possibly get a letter out to ask for an inspection.
Sure. No
All
problem.
right.
Okay, so the next one is 28 Balsam Drive.
I think we have 46 Alpine Drive.
46 Alpine Drive, you're right. Tabled from our 12/7 meeting, or December 7th meeting.
Right, and I have both of the parties, the owner and the complainant, are on the phone with us. So I do want to say that I think there are two issues here. One is a town structure issue, and then there is an easement issue. So I don't know how you want to address this as far as the complaint side of it. And ask also if Mr. DeFusco would like to speak at all, Dick.
Sure. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Yes, this is Tom DeFusco. I'm on as Patty McCarron.
Got it.
Yes, the two issues is, one is a post at the top of the driveway. It's a 4x4 post to mark the driveway and put the number on. And it originally had a light, which was all removed. All the electrical was removed from the post. It was a permit issue. It was my bad. I should know better. But anyway, Kevin and I are good on that, and the lighting and the electrical has all been removed. So now it's just basically a post with a number on it. That was what Diane is calling a structure. In the easement, it said no structures, no buildings, no structures, etc. Stick in the ground, 4x4 in the ground could be a structure. That's the minor issue. The other issue is that there was a situation, I had the project from hell. I don't know if you have the plot plan. Does anyone have the plot plan there?
I believe we have it on file, yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe not.
I've looked at it.
In the recent survey that the Pratt's did. Yes, no?
I'm sorry, I missed the question.
There was the Pratt's recently did a plan for this easement issue. And I was wondering if you had that. It was done on December 9th. It's a recent plot plan. It'll make it easier to explain if you have it.
Well, I think the easement issues are between the you and the landowner. I'm not sure where the town steps in on that.
Well, I agree. I'm trying, the Pratts we've been neighbors for 24 years, and we shared a well for 20 years. When the situation on Alpine Drive came up, they were gracious and very accommodating to give me a easement for 2,000 square feet so I can access my home. In the process of doing this, over a year, it all got washed away 3 times. It flooded out my cellar, flooded out my apartment. It was a project from hell. In doing so, I went a little over we're talking, give or take 10 or 15 square feet. And this is all woods. Their house is 200 feet away through the woods. And for some reason, after 2 years, issue was taken with it. My way to resolve it was to get a cutter and remove the offending hot top that's over the easement. I also told them I'd be very happy to compensate their engineering fees and to compensate them for the extra land that I used. And that's where we're at now. I didn't bring this before you. The Pratts brought it before you. And I believe he's on the phone.
Can we hear from the other side?
Hi,
Barbara Dick. This is Diane Pratt. As Barbara mentioned, there are actually 2 separate issues. I think they're actually in the agenda tonight as 2 separate issues as well.
right.
So since we are sort of covering both, if I can just move forward to what is actually item 5, which is more specific to the light post and the electrical and the permit violation. That's separate from the STR complaint, by the way.
Mhm.
So that does occur in the easement area. As Mr. DeFusco mentioned, the easement has an exclusive purpose, which is strictly to allow access to and from the property. There's a specific call out to not have anything else put into that area. So the light post was installed with a power line, with a post, with a light fixture, without approval, without request. And granted, it might have just been an oversight at the time, but still it was put there. We have asked that all be removed. Mr. DeFusco had mentioned that he has removed the light fixture itself. It does appear that the post is still there. The post was intended to be a light post, and without turning this into semantics, our request is that the entire thing be removed. So not just take the light fixture off of the post, but we don't want the post there. So at this point, with regard to item 5, it has not been resolved. So the post is there, and until the post and the electrical line and the light fixture are all removed, it is still considered an open item for us. And so that's that item. That's the building permit item. That's item number 5. So in our opinion, it is not yet resolved.
Right.
With regard to the STR complaint, that is separate of the easement. That does not take into consideration the easement area because it wouldn't be applicable. Our concern after we had done a property line survey, in finding through the survey that there is an encroachment concern. Not only is there an encroachment where part of the parking pad is on our property, but that also gives clear indication that the setback ordinance is also not being adhered to. Taking back the property line plus adhering to the setback, which I believe to be 15 feet. My concern with regard to the STR is that likely may not allow for adequate parking. And by the way, not specific even to the STR, but the zoning ordinance in itself calls for a specific number of parking spaces per dwelling. Obviously, that's up to the town to determine, right? I just wanted to bring it to their attention. For us, we still have a separate and open issue of having all of that material removed from our property, bringing the property back to original and natural condition, and having the setback adhered to as well. And again, that entire portion of the discussion is very separate and distinct from the easement.
Okay, so as far as the short-term rental complaint goes, it is pretty much strictly parking and against the
Correct.
parking ordinance, and if it encroaches on any of the easement, that's just as an aside. And then the building permit, the issue that's under the building permit is for the post structure and the access and easement access based on zoning requirements.
Yeah, and actually on the easement access, there's really no issue with the easement access per se, right? There is, through our findings with the property survey, we did find that the easement area is in fact encroaching to some extent into our property. And that, I think, needs to just simply be covered as part of the encroachment in general. But having the light fixture, the power line, and the light post are put up and erected in the easement area is the issue that we have with item 5. So removing a part of that issue is only part resolution, right? We want the entire thing removed. We want the power line, the light fixture, and the light post removed.
And so
And
Kevin,
we've made that very clear to
okay,
Mr. Fusco, by the way.
okay. And Kevin Bennett, as far as you're concerned, was the electrical issue your issue with that post? Or did you have any issue with the post as far as from a building inspector point?
No, the post should definitely be removed. That should be taken out. You know, I think once the post is taken out, that issue will be done with. I kind of still personally have an issue with, he did, I mean, it's all part of this permit thing. He did put a licensed electrician's name down, and I still can't contact the guy, and I mean, he didn't do anything up the code, put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah, it was supposed to be buried 12 to 18 inches below grade. He used the wrong wire. There's no marking tape above the surface. So it was a hazard to, you know, someone digging in the area, and they did hit it. So I think we should still send a notice out, which I think it's all signed. We should get that in the mail.
Mhm.
And until that, you know, and send it to Mr. Fusco, and you know, and then wait until that post is gone. And if it's not, we should follow up with the fines.
As I mentioned,
So that's,
the electrical has been removed.
Okay,
yep. Well,
all right, all right. Thanks, Tom, and thanks, Kevin.
Yep.
So Dick, again, as the two issues for the short-term rental complaint issue,
Is the parking.
that's the parking violation, so we will look at that. And
Excuse me, but what's the short-term rental? You issued me a permit for short-term rental.
correct, you have been issued a permit, correct?
Okay, I don't understand what the short-term rental is.
It's the parking violation that Diane was mentioning before.
I don't understand what that has to do with the short-term rental.
What, parking? It's on the permit.
Right. What was the violation? What was the violation?
I
don't
believe
know.
there are too many vehicles parked at your residence, is that it? Or Diane, you said it's not having to do with anything about the easement, it's the number of vehicles?
Hi, just to clarify what was specifically called out, and there was more of a concern of whether or not there is actually adequate space available. The property at 46 Alpine is a 2-dwelling property, which would require, per the zoning ordinance, to have space for 4 vehicles to a spec measure of 10 by 20 per. With the encroachment and the setback being applied, I was concerned that there may not, in fact, be enough space to accommodate that many parking spaces to support 2-dwelling.
We've been there 40 years. We've never had more than 3 or 4 cars there. There's
Yeah,
plenty-
yeah,
Yep.
that's not the call out. It's about the ordinance requiring a certain number of space to be able to accommodate that number of vehicles. If you were to look at the zoning ordinance, I believe it's section 7, there's a specific call out for what the requirements are.
Okay, so I'm gonna, Dick, you and I will talk talk with the zoning board about this and see what we need to do moving forward on this.
Yes,
Okay. And then, so no complaint will be filed on this today. And again, I apologize for the delay on this one. I'm glad you spoke up, both of you, so we can get a clearer understanding of what we're addressing here. And then skipping to the building permit, we will be filing a complaint on that for removal of the post, and that will be on the building permit side. So, again, I appreciate your input, Kevin and Tom.
Hello, Bob.
Yes.
My name is Victor Allen, and
Oh, Victor, there's a really bad feedback there.
okay. Hold on one second.
okay, whoever just came on, it's totally distorted.
How about now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's better, Vic. This is Victor Allen, Dick.
It's concerning the complaint at 62 Thornhill Road. And this is my 4th complaint, and it's been going on for 3 months. And my main concern is the septic system.
Mhm.
I mean, with 21 people, there's been up to 25 people there. And I'm worried about my well, and I have a house lot behind that house, and we intended to build on, and that well, I'm worried about that if we drill a well there also.
Right. Victor, so I understand that you filed multiple complaints. When we do file a violation with the owner, they have to have a certain amount of period of time to get back to us. So even though you filed more complaints, we can't really file a next violation. But I do think that we'll initiate Kevin to have an inspection done of Thornhill Road based on these, based on the complaints, and we'll see where we go from there. And if there are too many people for the septic overload, then we'll have to take an action from there.
I mean, it's, the ordinance was the 3rd complaint, you revoked their permit.
The complaint process starts with fines. So we'd have to pretty much go through the process with our legal counsel. And I think the fines come first. I think the revocation is a 3rd step along the way.
Right, and they have to have a cure period. So every complaint that you file does not necessarily result in a violation being filed with the owner, because they have to have a cure period.
So do I need to file more complaints?
Nope.
I mean, but
No,
No, it's the same complaint. I mean, we have that and we have it on record and we're dealing with it, but you have to accept the fact that some of these things take time.
no, I understand that, but I didn't know if this complaint that was just filed is the 3rd complaint where if they're guilty, they lose their permit.
No, a complaint is not the same as a violation. So
Right.
when you complain, if we got, say somebody had a short-term rental and 4 people filed a complaint over one weekend over one property, that would result in a violation because we got several complaints in the weekend, if that makes sense. The fact that you're filing complaints does not mean that we send a violation notice with every complaint. In addition, the complaints are about the same issue, so we need resolution by the owner for the violations that we've sent to the owner, and we're waiting to hear back from them what their remedy is going to be. If after second violation, which is a fine, they do not remedy the situation, then violation number 3 would be filed against them, which would result in a revocation of their permit.
Okay, so just to make it clear, is there anything else I have to do?
No, I don't think there is at this time. I appreciate you attending meetings and keeping vocal about this until it gets resolved.
I mean, you can go there right now on their website and you can reserve it for 21 people.
I know, I appreciate that's painful because that's not right.
Yeah, but my well is, if my well gets contaminated, it's going to be a long lasting thing. And I'm very worried about it. And my other question is, I did submit a complaint to the Conservation Commission because I figured they had the jurisdiction over contaminating the water, and you didn't let it go to them.
No,
held
I
it up?
believe it did go to them.
I
I'll follow up on that though.
No, Barb, Peter said that it needs to go through the selectmen.
Oh, okay.
All enforcement comes through the selectmen. The Conservation Commission are good people, but they don't have the power of enforcement on anything. I mean, they can make recommendations to the selectmen, but it'll all happen through the select office.
Well, my complaint to the Conservation Commission, should they get it and then respond to you?
I have no idea if they've gotten it or.
Well, Julia
No,
told me that it was, you told her not to send it to them?
No, it wasn't the selectmen. It was the town attorney that said that complaints get filed through the selectmen's office, so it did not go to the Conservation Commission.
Okay, my question is, should I send my complaint to the Conservation Commission about this
There's no
septic
reason
issue?
to complain to the Conservation Commission because they have no power to do anything.
Yeah,
Any complaint you have comes to the select office.
and that's what I did. I sent it there, but you had just said that they would look at it and get back to you if they had an issue with the septic.
Right.
I'm sorry if I said that I misspoke. I'm sorry. The complaint would come through us. The Conservation Commission would not have any authority over that complaint.
Okay. It's just, I was hoping you would do something about, because of the septic system issue. I mean, it's been they have massive amounts of people there every weekend. I mean, what if it was your well though? I mean.
I don't know what to tell you at this point, other than I definitely feel your pain and we're following the process we can. And as soon as it gets to the time frame that we can file a cease and desist to revoke their permit, then we'll take that action.
Okay, is there a way to get updated on what's going on with that or anything?
Yeah, I can talk to our council and find out what the timeline is on that.
Okay,
and I'll let you know.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate
all this information is public information. I mean, you're
correct.
entitled to every bit of it. So don't feel that you're on the outside looking in. I mean, if you need, any kind of information from the office, you can have it.
Okay, I appreciate it. And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you.
Hey, the days are getting longer.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Victor. Okay, well now we have another discussion of 28 Balsam Drive.
And I do have Ian Reardon on the phone if we want to hear from him.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, how are you? Thank you. I wanted to thank you guys for allowing me to speak tonight. And at first, I wanted to, I understand that this STR process is difficult for everybody, and just, hearing this meeting, I understand that the negative implications that some of these properties can have on towns people. you know, my family has lived in Jackson for approximately 4 years, and we've owned a short-term rental for approximately 10. Due to the fact that I have a vested interest in this, I've been following the developments of the short-term rental, you know, as it was envisioned and enacted over the last several years, you know, by listening to these meetings and looking at the minutes. One of our homes, both of our homes, we own 2 term rentals, and you know, we were the first to apply for a permit, and we continue to try to do everything in our power to make sure that these rentals have the least impact to the town possible. Since the ordinance has been enacted, we've installed exterior cameras, we've installed noise detection devices, we've rented a dumpster, we actively drive by to verify people aren't parking on the street. We've modified our online postings, and we actually rent one of our properties at below occupancy of what the town allows, specifically to try to avoid large groups. And despite all of this, we've continued to receive complaints from neighbors. There's a specific neighbor that's approximately 500 street down from our property. The last complaint involved driving RC cars on the street. This particular neighbor, in the short time since this ordinance has been enacted, she's requested that the renters not walk by her home. She's asked that we only rent to people that speak English. She's asked that she's told renters that were there that they're not coming back in the future because she's in the process of having the property banned. And she's become involved in an altercation with a family staying at the house that was so bad that that family requested a refund and felt so unwelcomed in the neighborhood. So while I understand the town, you can't control an individual neighbor, that I feel like that the board has created an environment that's in an infrastructure that's developed some of these types of complaints to come forward. And when I look back, and if you look at the meeting that this board had on July 28th, and the video is online, at approximately 17 minutes and 30 seconds in, Selectman Bennett basically explains the 3-strike policy about, you know, after 3 violations, you lose your permit for 3 months. And again, I've heard people in this meeting today, you know, say that's their understanding of how the ordinance works as well, right? And then directly after he says that, at 19:32 in the video, and I'm going to quote Selectman Bennett here, and it says, if I could get people, and that is what it is going to come down to for right now, is a neighbor who is offended by either noise or fireworks or beer cans all over the place, you have to bring it to us, you have to bring it in writing, and we will certainly do everything that we can to curtail that. Now, obviously, no one wants fireworks, beer cans, and everything in their neighbor. But when I look at the ordinance, section 4.4 is limited to removal of trash, parking on the street, and occupancy limits, and other site-specific conditions as posed as part of the approval, right? RC cars, fireworks, litter, noise violations are not related to the STR ordinance. So when I look at the complaint form and I go online, how come it doesn't say at the top, okay, what is this person complaining about? Are they complaining about parking? Are they complaining about overcrowding? Because right now it's a free-for-all. They can complain about whatever they want. You know, when they fill this form out, they don't have to certify it for truthfulness. I mean, when we fill out the affidavit, we had to swear an oath. Yet these people can come in and say whatever they want. There's no repercussions for putting out wrong information, you know, and this is our livelihood. It's, you know, personally, this ordinance has been very difficult for me and my family, as we live in constant fear of complaints that will show up in the Jackson emails, that a determined neighbor will be successful at basically being able to destroy our livelihood, get the 3 strikes, and our rental's gone, right?
Okay, Ian, can I just interrupt real quickly? Because
Yep.
I definitely understand where you're coming from. And I worked with Katie, your wife, on the short-term rental committee, and was really pleased to see the things that you guys have done with your rentals as far as educating the renters that you have and doing things in your neighborhood. Because someone does file a complaint and they are using the form that we have created, you're right, there's room for improvement. Why are you complaining? What can you do to justify it? Because someone files a complaint does not mean that you will necessarily get a violation notice, because some of these are grievances versus complaints. Now, when it's public information and we have the process that we're going through to file these complaints, I understand that's not a pleasant situation. So in the situation of the complaint that you're talking about, in my opinion, it's a grievance that the neighbor has versus a violation of anything in the ordinance. You're right, there's a difference between the noise ordinance, the fireworks rules, parking ordinances, things that, like you said, when you fill out the conditional use permit, that you do have to sign an affidavit to. So we have a lot of notes and a lot of good information and input on how to improve that short-term rental complaint form. And I think if you remember, it's only a couple months old by itself. So I definitely, and you being an attorney, you know how things are with forms and affidavits and truthfulness. And as a short-term rental owner, you know that you can get bad reviews as a landlord or as a renter. So there's a lot of information out there to go by. We're working to improve it. I love to hear your input on these things, but I think right now what you have is unfortunately a really uncomfortable neighbor situation. And the request that was filed to, or the complaint that was filed, in my opinion, does not warrant a violation.
Thank you, Barbara. And again, I appreciate the difficulty of this. And again, I don't want to come across like I'm just complaining. To us, it's basically the fact that the way that we see it is we're going to be living with this foreseeable future where we're just waiting for these complaints to come in. And I mean, I understand that there's nothing that can really be done about it right now, but I just think that the people making the complaints, there needs to be something there that they can't just put whatever they want.
Yeah, and that's so hard, but we'll work on it, and I'm still going to be working with the short-term rental committee moving forward to get more input and to educate the renters, the owners, and the residents to the situation and how our livelihoods are changing, I guess.
Well, thank you. I mean, I think you guys are doing a great job, and I agree that short-term rentals need to be regulated. Just from what I live next to one, and from what I've heard today. So, I appreciate what you guys have done. So thank you.
Yeah, I thank you for your input and the things that you do, and we'll probably be using some of your examples of what you've done to help your situation. And then, we have the flip side where we have septic and conservation and well issues, and those are even more frustrating to deal with than a noise type of ordinance, but they're all important to keep neighbors good neighbors, I guess. So.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the time to speak.
And thank you for your time. I appreciate that because I think that keeping the dialogue open is going to be the answer in the long run to all of this.
I agree. I mean, I just feel better already, speaking to you guys. And it's just sort of the uncertainty that really is the issue right now. And I'm hoping that, as time goes by, we can sort of flush a lot of that out and everybody can have more certainty. So thank you very much.
Okay.
Thanks, Ian.
Well, now I think we can move to building permits.
All right. Well, we got a lot of them again, didn't we?
Yeah, we do. We have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 building permits. Let's see, they're all on record.
Kevin, do you have any comments you want to add?
Kevin, you have any issues with any of it?
No, they're pretty, I mean, I think they're all pretty straightforward, I think, unless someone has any questions. I think the one on Mountain View right now, they're just doing site work, and that's going to be on hold until, I'm guessing until springtime after. Everything's froze up, put it that way.
Yeah.
They just took down trees and they haven't done anything else really. But I think everything else is pretty straightforward.
Okay, well, building permits are for our information, so they're all on record. And I'm going to go ahead with the driveway permit.
Dick, I'm sorry, Julie just
Okay.
texted me and we have to backtrack. We do need to make a motion to file the violation notice for diffuse go. So going backwards, I will make a motion to file a violation notice for diffuse go for the building permit, the removal of the post.
It says motion right there and it needs signatures.
Yep.
So would you make a motion to complete that violation or to send that violation notice?
I will make a motion for that.
I will second that motion. Barbara, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Bennett, yes.
Thanks, Julie.
You always have to watch me. But then we go to a driveway permit, map V6, lot 14, Mountain View, owner Morrill. I think that's been approved. As for our information, Benish driveway is still on hold. The right of way at Vista Way is on hold. Our upcoming meetings, excuse me, the next one is Tuesday, January 12th at 3:30 via Zoom. The next one after that is Tuesday, January 26th at 3:30 via Zoom.
And the January 26th meeting will also be our first budget hearing. So watch for that. And also watch for communication on how we will be having these meetings and communicating the budget information.
Yes, we're going to have to work on how that's all going to shake out.
Correct.
Well, it's on there as a discussion. I don't know how we're going to hold a town meeting or the budget hearings. I doubt if we can hold them outside. It will be some form of Zoom meeting, but I don't know if there will be some attendance someplace. We'll certainly see what we could work out. We could have, we did attendance, it would be a limited, I don't know who would, I guess first come, first serve or something. Anyway, it's something we'll certainly work on. We'll try to keep everyone safe that would be involved in those meetings. And we'll go from there.
Sounds good. Everything changes day to day.
Yes, it does. Is there any other public comment?
Anyone left on the phone that would like to speak? All right. Nothing here.
Okay, then I think we'll go into, we have 2 items on non-public. So RSA 91A3 2A, the dismissal, promotion, or compensation of any public employee or the disciplining of such employee or the investigation of any